Hey, welcome to Steve Davis Show. Special guest is Gerard Pineda, head baseball coach at La Cueva High School, defending state champion. And I tell you, what a impressive year for traveling this year. Speak on that. I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really grateful to Mike Houston and Adrian Ortega there at APS for allowing us to travel out of state. We've been fortunate to play in the Boris Classic. It's probably one of the most prestigious tournaments in the Southwest. And this is our second year, and we had a pretty good showing. Went 2-2, played some really good baseball, and it was just a great experience for our guys to be able to get outside the state and face up against some other people.
well, no, we were keeping. We thought you might have to make a showing at the state tournament. I know we were teasing. I know you have two jobs, and you're assistant with, and you were at the same time the state tournament was going. And I remember talking to you before one of the games. Well, it looks like you might be flying back here on Saturday or something.
I did look into it, but yeah, that experience helping Coach Orell coach basketball was a lot of fun. Yeah, very, very disappointed that we didn't get to I didn't get to coach in the state in the pit. And I wish our guys would have been able to win a couple more games. But yeah, that Volcano Vista group was pretty tough to beat.
Well, you were sitting here almost 11 months ago, right in the same spot. You just came off a state championship, and the target's on your back, and and tell me how you're handling, how your team's handling, and
Right.
and how we can move forward.
It's kind of similar. Every year I think we always have a team that's in the running for a state championship. We've been in this situation a few times, coming off a state champion, being defending champions. And this year is kind of shaping up very similar to last year. Hopefully it's got the same ending. But yeah, no, everybody's getting better. The talent amongst all the other schools is getting a lot deeper, so that there's not a big talent gap. And everybody's wanting to win and get everybody's best game when we step on the field.
You win this, the Metro tournament, but your district, and I'm just looking at your district on this thing. Three of your teams are in the top 10.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tough one. And District 1 is always a difficult one. We Farmington and PV went back to District 1, so that's going to make it a little bit tougher on all those guys. But between us, Sandy, and El Dorado, those are three high-quality teams that any three of us have a chance to be in that final game and definitely in the Final Four. So it'll be fun to see how it plays out. We got El Dorado this weekend.
Starts this week, right? You beat last week.
This is our second week. Yes, we played Manzano last weekend and won those two, so we're 2-0. El Dorado's 2-0, and Sandy is 2-0. So it's shaping up to be a tight race down the finish.
Well, I think that's what you play for, and I think playing great competition even makes you better, makes you sharper.
Right. Yeah, going out to Arizona, our strength of schedule has been really good because we faced the defending 5A champion in Arizona and Castile High School, and we had to come back and beat them. We scored 3 in the 7th to beat them. The next day we played Queen Creek, who was a defending 6A state champion out of Arizona. And, we're up 5-3 on them, and they kind of had a couple of nice base hits and put up 3 to go up 6-5 in the 4th or 5th. And then Corona del Sol, which those guys that was probably the best team that we played out there. So facing those guys and being in a position to win a couple of games and have a chance to win, I think was really good for our club and showing them where they can be at the end.
Well, what I see out of it is you played the best in Arizona, and also is an eye opener to how good your program is, and shows that you can compete right there with them, and the state of New Mexico is right there with all the other states.
Oh yeah, no, those we played the 3 out of the top 7 schools in Arizona, and
you got it up there on the board.
Come up, there were some good games, and then you come back, and then it does show how well, and you see it with the kids from New Mexico that are going on to play in college, that those guys can compete. Probably the difference is those rosters tend to be a little bit deeper, but the best guys in New Mexico can compete with anybody, and you saw that, the real good outing that Sandia had in that Metro tournament, and then, Cleveland's couple arms that they faced, their pitching staff's deep too. They pitched us really tough in that Sal Puentes tournament. So, you see those good arms. We've seen a lot of them, which, definitely I think it helps us down the stretch.
Well, the other thing, too, is it's a compliment to your program and to your staff and everything, is that your players weren't in awe.
Right.
I mean, you went out there with, their mentality was they're going to go win all the games. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you step on the field, and with the ability and the talent that we have, and the track record too, is you have that expectation. Like, we step on the field expecting to win. Now you just got to go out there and do some of the things that have that become the outcome.
Got a little picture of your team there. You got
good looking group.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking up there. It doesn't happen without great assistance. Speak on those.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Any key to success, just like your business, is, tend to not have a lot of turnover. And we've been able to keep the core group of our staff together. Rick Engel retired a couple of years ago, and he's still around quite a bit. He runs,
once it's in your blood, it always stays.
Well, he runs a little Bible study with the kids. It's a little more sporadic during the season, but they do it quite a bit in the fall and the off season. And Bill's been with me all but 4 years of my 16 there. Coach Gonzalez is now on, I believe, his fourth year, second year as varsity assistant. And between Coach Gonzalez and Coach Gracie, you've got two guys that were head coaches, in APS before. So that adds a lot of that stability. And then our JV coach does a great job, Alex Dory. This is just his fifth season, but he was on the C team for a while, and he really gets those guys, very well prepared for a varsity role.
Tell you what, we're going to go to the Everguard Roofing and Solar Top 10 Plays of the Week and come back and talk more La Cueva baseball.
Sounds good.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Gerard Pineda here with La Cueva. We're having a little technical problems there. Hey, welcome back. We're with Gerard Pineda, defending state champions, and this season, we were talking this last week, and it just goes. I just went over our schedule. We did the state basketball champion, 84 games, and then the next week we did cheer and dance. It was all day Friday and Saturday, and then we had the baseball tournament in Rio Rancho, and then this weekend they assigned us to do weightlifting, and we had 6 crews of 6 deals so far. Our schedule. So now it's I hope it not being. Now we're going to start really covering baseball. And I looked at the schedule; there's like 10 games left. So I apologize for that.
No, you're busy. I get that. I didn't know about the weightlifting, but yeah, no, it flies by every year, and I try to tell the kids. I mean, even when we got back in January, which seems like just a couple days ago, right? You get back and you got preseason, and then February and all that, and God, once games start, it just goes.
Well, I tell you, but looking at the weather, this is baseball weather right now. Hopefully it stays that throughout the next month. But you got a great weekend of weather. You have no excuses about weather.
No, not this week. But yeah, we played Manzano on Saturday, and that's some of the coldest I've been playing a baseball game. But yeah, the forecast looks great, and we're looking forward to some more baseball conducive weather.
Well, let's talk about other teams across the state. You got to play them and see them, and I always like your opinion on what's going to happen. When it comes down into state playoff time.
Yeah, the one that's real interesting for me is Las Cruces. They've got a very solid record. Coach Padilla does a great job, but I haven't seen them or gotten to see anybody who they've played, but got to see Carlsbad during the Sal Puentes tournament, and Coach McGaha does a great job. Those guys are going to be solid. Cleveland obviously is really playing well now. I talked to Coach Schallenberger there during the tournament. He was, some of those losses they'd had a bad inning, and the game got away from them. So, Rio Rancho's tough, and Sandia's played us tough, and and El Dorado's beat Sandia once already this year, so.
And El Dorado's kind of a surprise. I mean, from the public side, not maybe from the baseball side.
Yeah, no. After seeing what they did last year, definitely I'm not surprised at how well they're playing, and I think they'll be definitely somebody to contend with. So we got a big week for us. You try to win every game, obviously, and we just got to make sure that we're keeping pace in our district and helping us get the best seed possible come May.
Well, baseball's, I was just looking at it, I think there's like 3 more weeks. I mean, maybe 4 weeks.
Yeah, we got 4 regular season and then the 2 playoffs, so we're looking at 6 total. And those will end just as quickly as the beginning started. So, so that's it always happens, it seems like, and then we were talking earlier off camera that when you play double headers, it seems to be even more so because you play 1 day a week, and so it's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid when you get in there and play those double headers.
Well, and it just shows you. Before we even started the show, I was like looking at the schedule. I'm old school, man. I remember y'all used to have double hitters with each home and home.
Yeah, no, I like that schedule. Double headers, a lot can happen in a day, and you're dealing with the decisions of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. But, I like the consistency of playing a couple times a week, and getting into a routine. And we still have our routine when it comes to double headers. And by now, we should be used to them because we've been doing that for a number of years in terms of district. But, I would really like to get back to, home and away type games and playing everybody twice, not in a doubleheader situation.
Well, I tell you, baseball to me is like relax. One, I don't know much about baseball. Okay, so I just like to, I'm a fair weather person, so if it's windy or cold, I'll drive by and check out that score. But that's about as far as I get out.
All those days in the gym growing up for you got used to that climate
No, I got
control.
smart. I got smart. I mean, I said, you guys, I don't have a perfect day every time I go, unless the heater or the air conditioner doesn't work. So.
Yeah, early on in the season,
you figured that out really quick how easy it is to coach basketball. So.
Well, I wouldn't say easy, but it's a lot more conducive to short sleeve shirts and and shorts. But yeah, no, I gotta. There's a couple days going out to baseball early in the season, like going, man, I could just go up to basketball practice and be inside. But I'm getting back to my old ways.
You know, speak on that a little bit. I mean, it's almost, you know, like. On practice days when it's bad out there, you go out and practice because you may be playing in that. I mean, you like a lot of times, you know, sometimes you're like, man, we don't need to be out there, but that could happen while you're playing.
Right. You know, my favorite one is when we get a really windy day in March. We'll do our pop-up priority drill because, you know, you get the wind swirling and the ball bouncing all over. And yeah, you know, we play in that, and especially in the state of New Mexico, we get a lot of windy days, and you got to be prepared for anything. And heck, you could be in short sleeves at the beginning, first pitch, and by the end you're bundled up because the temperature dropped 20 degrees.
Well, that's funny. This maybe go back, and you maybe remember 10, 12 years ago, and it was isotopes, and it was really windy on the deal. And all I saw y'all were hitting the ball straight up and letting the wind, because and letting your guys get used to the wind. I remember that like vividly.
Yeah, well, I got that one from Tom Dragmeister, rest his soul. But yeah, he's like, I don't understand why you guys just hit everything on the ground. You know, one, they don't play at isotopes very often. You know, so hit the ball in the air. And so
maybe I was sitting one time because we were sitting there and he was like, yeah, I remember that kind of, he's like, well, yeah, at least some people still listen to me.
Yeah, I changed our outfield, our in and out routine because of Tom. So now we always hit at least a couple fly balls to each position. One, see what it looks like in that backdrop, and then if it is a windy day, get an idea of what's happening to the ball up there.
But at the isotopes, it was because it's protected.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, up to wherever the top floor is, and then as soon as if it goes up higher than that, it might go another 10 or 15 feet. So.
Yeah, you really got to be prepared for anything there. So it's a great environment. Hopefully someday we can get back to playing the state tournament there. Jennifer Reardon's an awesome place, and UNM does an outstanding job. But you know, for a high school baseball player playing at Isotopes Park in the state tournaments, like all the basketball kids getting to go to the pit. So it'd be really nice to get back to that someday.
And speak on the state tournament as far as, and correct me, the championship, everybody except your class, 6A, right? You're 6A.
5A.
5A. I get it. Between 6 and 5A is going to be there.
Right. I looked just the other day on the NMAA's website, and it looked like the schedule has all the state tournament games at Jennifer Reardon except for the 5A championship, which will be at UNM Saturday night at 7, I believe. But yeah, that's the only one that won't be played at the sports complex. So, you know, if hopefully it's us in there, and last year we had a good crowd, and it's a good venue.
You had an amazing crowd. I mean, it was sold out. I mean, there wasn't no room for anybody.
It's a fun environment for sure.
You know, we're coming to the end here, but I just want to thank you and Dill. I mean, Sebastian loves covering you. You guys are always good to us and give us a good insight of really what. You know, a lot of people won't talk about, things, and it's good to be able to promote those players as well as we can without distracting from your game plan and everything.
Yeah, I think it's been a great relationship, so thank you. I appreciate you guys covering us. And, yeah, being around it and seeing, what you guys provide for a high school setting, and very similar to what these guys are going to see when they go to college, and hopefully the guys that go to pro ball is, you give everybody what they need to do their job, whether it's me and the coaches preparing the kids or the staff and the color commentators, having the information to talk about, because nothing's worse than just dead dead airways.
Well, the kiss of death is having Sebastian come to practice. So just make sure he stays away from practice. He can talk to you, and he can you can make him think that he knows a lot about baseball. But
well, that's good to know.
Just don't let him come in there and get your kids' heads too big. Okay.
We will ban him from practice. I'm good with that.
Well, it's been this year has been. Well, the last couple of years, it's fun for you to come in here, and I want to thank you. I mean, every time I call you, hey, I'll make time to come in and speak with Steve Davis on his show. But it's been such a pleasure being in the baseball world with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And, yeah, keeping the media happy but it's fun for me. And again, you promote the kids and get them the recognition they deserve.
Well, I'll tell you what, good luck to you this year.
Thank you.
And then hopefully we'll be speaking, you'll be sitting right back in here in 6 weeks.
It'll be nice.
No pressure.
Thanks for having me.